How we doing, everybody? And welcome back to another episode of Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. I'm your host, Trage. Today we have a special episode, a special guest. We are talking to two-time All-American, three-time national qualifier, Stephen Buchanan, currently residing in the great state of Oklahoma. How are we doing today, Stephen?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me.
Of course, we got to get everybody on this podcast talking everything Wisconsin sports. He comes from Wisconsin, so we got to be talking about him here. And can you introduce yourself to us? Tell us a little bit about you, about your travels, how you've been doing.
I've been good, man. I've been good. Coming out of Wisconsin, headed out to Laramie, Wyoming, where I studied in business economics for 3 years, and then wrestled, becoming, like you said, two-time All-American, Big 12 champ, and then ended up transferring to Oklahoma. With that transfer, I ended up losing a bit of credit, so I had to go to multidisciplinary studies and have 2 more years of eligibility, where I graduate this spring and then hop into a grad program right after I graduate. So can't complain, man. It's been a lot of moving all over the country, but it's been good for me. It's been good for me.
Okay. And how is life in Oklahoma? Coming from a small town in Wisconsin, moving down to Oklahoma, how is life down there at the university?
It's good, man. It's good. It's big. So big. A lot of people. The humidity and heat is something I'm still trying to get used to. I'm heading to class, trying not to sweat. I might just bring a hand towel so I can just wipe the sweat off me. But it is wild out here how hot it is, and you have to be careful. I have leather seats in my car, man, and sometimes I sit down, I get burnt. So still trying to get used to the heat. But other than that, man, the people are nice. Teammates and coaching staff are great. So I can't complain, man.
Went from Wisconsin, we're warming up the car in the winter. Now we're cooling it off in the summers in Oklahoma.
Yeah,
It's a different kind of thing. So tell me about a normal day for you right now. So you have, wrestling's just getting started. You're not quite into season yet, but tell me about a normal day for you down there at Oklahoma.
Yeah, so a normal day for me is waking up at 6:30. We have lift at 6:50, and that goes from 6:50 to 7:50. And then right after lift, we have this track workout. There we do 200s, 400s, 800 miles, buddy carries. It's everything he can kind of think of, and honestly just kind of break us down, build our mentality. So after that, I head to class from 10 to 12, and then from 2:30 to 5 we have practice, and then our teammates after that kind of go to Headington Hall, where we have dinner, and then after that it's eating, doing the homework, playing on the game, and then heading to bed just to do it all over again the next day.
I got tired. I got tired right there. I got tired listening to that. I am exhausted. So tell me about the difference at each level. You kind of touched on it there of what your kind of training regimen is now, but tell me the difference from each level that you've been at, kind of like your training regimen and how, even opponents have changed over the years here leading up to this point.
Yeah, so the competitive level is definitely way higher than high school. Every guy you step out on the mat is going to be really good. But the coaches kind of hold you to a standard of being a professional. Just coming in every day, knowing what you're going to do, and then doing it to the best of your ability. So I think that's the biggest change from high school to college is it's a job, and at a job you have to perform well, otherwise you have consequences. So it's taken a lot more serious. But other than that, the mat stays the same size. You still have coaches, you still have teammates. So other than that, it's pretty much all the same.
Okay. And you went from, like we talked about, you were wrestling at Oklahoma or at Wyoming. Sorry, you're at Wyoming. You went to Oklahoma now. Tell us about kind of the transfer there. Was it easy? Was it a simple move? Was it complex? We hear stories about guys transferring all the time, and it's disaster strikes, and then it's just a mess, or it goes simple for them. And did anything like NIL is starting to be introduced into the college sports world? Did anything like that come into play, making this move for you?
Right. And yeah, exactly what you said. Some guys who do transfer end up having the worst career of their life, and they end up just kind of falling off the board. So that was definitely kind of scary. Also, building relationships for 3.5 years with your teammates, with your coaches, it's never going to make things easy. So the move for me wasn't easy at all. You have broken relationships. No matter how good you are, you're going to be the bad guy. But something that definitely kind of made that transfer happen was my coach Tion Ware ended up getting a coaching job at Oklahoma. So that kind of spawned the transfer, and I hopped into the transfer portal. And another reason was I just wasn't really getting the scholarship that I was hoping for. They had me on 75, and I needed another 25 to cover for my schooling, and I was kind of going in debt. So I kind of hopped into the transfer portal to see if I could get a full ride, and Oklahoma did offer that. So that kind of made the transfer a little bit easier. So other than the relationships and just leaving the boys back at Wyoming, other than that, it was a pretty nice move.
And that's the part that I do understand with college athletes is even with wrestling, you don't see it broadcasted as much
Mm,
as the other sports, but you're still getting broadcasted out there, and these universities are still making money off of what you do for them on
mm,
in your case, on the mat. So getting what you're worth at least in that sense would, you're sacrificing yourself, you're sacrificing your time for what you're doing, and I mean,
exactly.
it's something you love, so that's what you're going to do. But at the
Right
same
now.
time, you got to be able to kind of get what you're worth then at that point. So
Hmm.
I completely understand the move, and I really do think people out there understand kind of the moves that are being made. It gets pushed
Yeah.
in some aspects, but so with that, getting on the NIL topic, do you see that a lot in wrestling yet, or is it kind of not there? Is it more focused other places at universities?
Yeah, I think it's definitely focused at other sports, whether that be football. Football is a big one, but basketball too has some big pretty big NIL deals. But with wrestling, you don't really see it. I mean, if you're an all-star like Gable Stevenson, he's one of the few. Gable Stevenson, Spencer Lee, Bravo Young, these guys are actually getting these big NIL deals. But when you kind of break it down into everyone in the wrestling programs, it's not that big. It's still coming around, and hopefully that wrestling kind of gets out there more, and we get funded more for that. But as of now, it's still coming along. It's still coming along.
Okay. Okay, and we see a lot. There was actually a guy, I can't remember what his name was now. He's coming from Wisconsin. He is now going to Penn State, I do believe.
Mm, okay.
What why are, in your opinion, you went through the transfer portal. I just want to know from a Wisconsin guy's perspective, why Wisconsin isn't attracting, even like you went out to Wyoming, but then you enter that transfer portal. Did they contact you at all, come back home or anything like that? And why do you think Wisconsin is losing so many recruits out of state right now? They can't keep the guys home. And that's in all aspects of sports right now. Wisconsin
Mm.
doesn't do well recruiting in state. But why, for you, from your opinion, why does Wisconsin struggle with that? And did they contact you at all in this transfer process?
So I'm not 100% sure why they're struggling with that. With the wrestling program they have there, I know that their training regimen is kind of difficult, and it kind of breaks down the body. I heard, and the coaches are really tough there. But with that, I think that scares a lot of high schoolers. They don't really want to go into a program where they're fearful of the coaches. You have to build this relationship in between coaches and wrestlers, and I don't feel like they're doing that great of a job there. But with sorry, what was the second part of that question, man?
What was the second part of that question? Oh, during your transfer process,
Mm.
was Wisconsin any of these Big Ten schools? Kind of just give a rundown of some of the bigger name schools that actually contacted you, and then what ultimately led to your Oklahoma decision.
Yeah, so I had probably like three or four Big Ten schools contact me. The bigger ones were Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan. Those were the kind of big three, and it it was intriguing at first, but you see all these guys leaving their programs, and you wonder like why? What's the reason behind that? And at the same time, it's just like I'm in the Big 12s. I don't really want to make the jump to Big Tens. Their schedule changed. Their training regimen's completely different. Their expectations of you are completely different. So I kind of wanted to stay in the conference that I was comfortable in, and my coach ended up moving to Oklahoma, who was in my conference, and then I knew guys a part of the team from this FCA camp, so it made the move a lot easier to kind of go down there and make that transition a little bit easier.
Okay, okay. and getting a little bit more on the personal level with you so that people can get to
Mm,
understand who Stephen Buchanan is.
yeah.
I know the answer. Everybody out there doesn't know the answer to this, but did you have, athletes in your family? Were you the only one, or were there more than you coming up through your youngin days, as they would call it?
Yeah, yeah. No, we definitely had athletes. We definitely had athletes, man. From Andrew, my oldest brother, down to the youngest one, number 11. I have a big family. Have a big family, a
There's
lot of
too
siblings.
many. Too
There's
many. You
too
can't even
many. There's
remember the
too
names.
many to name them, man. I'm not even gonna lie. Not even gonna lie. But
Number 11.
yeah, it's wild to think about. It is wild to think about. But we're all athletes, man. I'm 100% sure that every single one of us will either be on the mats, the field, or the track. We kind of I was a football player. I was a wrestler and a track runner. Never a baseball player. I wish I always got into baseball. Heard a lot about it. Just never really was for me. And we're definitely not a part of the courts. We could never handle the basketball correctly. So we
The
stuck to
form
the
was
mats.
off.
Yes,
I
the
saw
form
him
was,
shoot a
yes.
couple
Yeah.
times. He was good to stick with wrestling. It
A
got him
lot of air
farther.
balls, a lot of air balls, a lot of rims, a lot of bricks. So I stuck to the mats, and so did the rest of my brothers. So
I tell you what, you see this guy, you would think he's like the third person picked to be on your basketball team. He was the last guy. There was some uncoordinated
every
guys
time,
picked
every
before him.
time, every time.
He was the bruiser. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
He was the bruiser. I played him in football. I'm gonna tell you, a lot of shoestring tackles. It
Mm.
was, can I take his ankles out before he hits me? That's what it was.
Oh man.
I had to pull. You know how many ACLs I pulled just looking at him? I was just like, oh yep, I'm done. He'll fall over. Let him go by.
It'll happen. It'll happen, man.
So, so with that, how did you get into wrestling? I know you talked about you have an older brother and
Hmm.
he wrestled too, but how did you guys, as a family, really get into wrestling?
So it's a funny story. So, older two brothers actually got to play a little basketball. They weren't great at it, like I said. And I think the last straw was when my second brother Jesse was playing in a basketball game, and he wasn't really paying attention for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why, but his teammate called his name as they were passing the ball. He looks and the ball hits his face. After that game, my dad was walking back to the car and he's like, "We're a wrestling family, boys. We're gonna stick to the mats." So after that, we just kind of stuck to the mats, and it was just from there on, it was just we're a wrestling family. So
Okay. So the
yeah.
skill, the skill was not there in basketball, so we switched up. We
Yeah,
switched up to
talent was
wrestling.
not in basketball, so we had to go to wrestling, man. Had to go to
Hey,
wrestling.
I tell you, I had the talent in both. 3-0, loyal hound pound champ,
Yes,
took care of
sir.
business, and then I went into retirement. I
You
was
gotta
like
love
done
it.
with it. You went out on top. That's what you had to
That's what
do.
I'm saying. You can't get no hate for that, man. You can't get no hate for that.
I mean, you're not going to wrestle a single guy in this next season who's 3-0 in his career. That's all I'm going to say.
I'll keep that in mind. I'll keep that in mind in the back of my head so that can push me a little bit. That'll push me a little bit.
You can beat a guy who did shoestring tackles on you on a football field. You can beat
Right
any one
on.
of these guys out there.
Right on. Right on. I'll keep that in mind, man. Oh,
Oh,
shoot.
so if you had to give me three things about you as an athlete that you pride yourself on, three characteristics about yourself that you pride yourself on every single day in your wrestling career, even in life, what you pride yourself on.
Mm. Yeah, I'd just say a worth ethic. Ethic's a big one for me because it all kind of depends on just coming in every single day and putting in the effort. You know, wrestling's hard on your body. You're gonna come in with days where you don't feel like doing it. You'll be hurt some days, but that doesn't mean you can get better. My coach always says you're either getting better, or you're getting worse. So that kind of stuck with me, and it's just like every single day, there's one thing I can control, and that's the effort I put into the craft or to the game. So that's a big thing. I try to do every single day is just really put in all my effort into this worth ethic. Another thing is just trying to be just staying humble. It's easy out here to become prideful, especially a wrestler. It's just you out on the mat, and it's easy to become selfish. So just really staying thankful for the opportunities that were given to me and just the people who helped me along the way, and then blessed with the God given abilities that I was given. So just giving glory to God every single time and knowing that it's not me, but it's all on Him. And lastly, I would just say determination, because honestly, coming out of high school, I wasn't really looked at. I wasn't highly recruited athlete, and Wyoming was actually the only college that offered me a scholarship. So going out there, just staying determined every single day, putting in the work, and again having that support, having the coaches to help me along the way, and the team, and just the teammates to be there for me. So just staying determined, and knowing that just because people don't believe in you, you can still become who you want to be.
Okay. And with that, how do you feel like you've improved over the years from that first time you walked on campus there at Wyoming to
Mhm.
now going down to Oklahoma? How do you feel like you've improved each year to get to this point where you're at now?
Yeah, so I try to explain it to people as when I was a freshman, I was more of an athlete than a wrestler, and I really focused on my athletic ability. I had really good cardio, so it was kind of ugly. My matches were ugly, but I was determined and to win. So really just was an athlete out there trying to wrestle, and now it's almost got kind of on the opposite spectrum. My body's not as what it's not what it was. So I'm trying to become more of the wrestler, moving into more techniques, placing my hands where they should be, having the patience of attacking when they're actually open, creating angles and openings, and not just shooting the shoot or just wasting energy to waste energy. So just kind of learning the game and becoming more of a veteran than actually a rookie. So I'd say that.
Okay. Okay. And if you had to give me your sports idol,
Mm,
everybody's got a sports idol they've went through. Mine, Michael Jordan, greatest of all time basketball. Hey,
mm,
you know it. You know it. And Tom
mm-hmm.
Brady, I mean, you can't beat what Tom
Can't
Brady's
beat that arm,
done.
man.
No, you can't beat Tom unless if you're Eli Manning. Eli
Right,
Manning's
right.
a close
Okay,
one.
okay. That is a close second. That's a
He's
close
about the
second for
only
sure.
dog to be able to beat Tom Brady. So
Very
Eli
true.
Manning's up there too. But who is your sports idol? If you have more than one, you could throw them both or a couple of them out there. But who was your sports idol growing up? Who'd you try to create yourself to be?
Got you. Yeah. So, growing up, I was kind of into wrestling, and no one else was. So I kind of kept on the down low. But his name is Jordan Burroughs. A lot of people might not know him, but he's the Tom Brady of wrestling. The Jordan of wrestling. He's really fast on his feet. He kind of attacks from space, so I kind of wanted to be like him in that aspect of wrestling. But another guy was Kobe Bryant. His just worth ethic. I really wanted to kind of emulate myself after his worth ethic. I know he was kind of selfish on the courts, but at the same time, he pushed his teammates to be the best that they could be, and he believed that everyone could just kind of push themselves to that potential and more. All of his teammates were saying that he was doing workouts before the workouts. So I was always just trying to, put in the effort every single day, put in the extra workouts, and trying to be like him in that aspect.
Okay, yeah, yeah, definitely second greatest of all time behind MJ.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
LeBron's not even in top 10.
Nah.
You come onto this
Hey,
podcast,
man.
LeBron is in top 10.
Mike, you might catch for some heat for that, but I agree. I agree, man. I agree.
Hey,
A
I'm
little
all
overhyped.
about it. If somebody wants to come on here and talk about it, we can talk about it all day.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it, man.
So, do you have any? A lot of guys have rituals before they go out in the field. They'll listen to a certain music,
Mm,
or there's some weird ones where they'll like drink pickle
gotcha.
juice or eat mayonnaise. So, like,
Yeah.
do you have a ritual before you go out there on the mat, get you fired up, as they could say?
Yeah, in my freshman year, I definitely listened to a lot of music, but throughout my career, I've learned that it's what we do every single day. So you come in, you wrestle, you go out, you wrestle. Wrestling stays the exact same. So just really trying to stay calm throughout that entire process before I step out on the mat. Every single time I wrestle, before I wrestle, I do pray for God, pray to God, and just ask Him to just wrestle. I just really just give me the opportunity to wrestle my best for Him, and that's really been my ritual, as you said, and just really just kind of stay calm, because as my coach said, we're all professionals, so we just do what we have to do to perform at our best. So
Okay. What kind of music are we talking? Like, what fired up Stephen Buchanan to get ready to rock?
Listen, man. I don't know if anyone will know this. I don't know if anyone will know this. It's not rock. It's
We all know Taylor Swift. You don't have to hide
yeah.
it.
Oh man, I was gonna say some country, bro, but I'm not into country. But no,
I
it's
know it was what ruined. It's what ruined us. It's what ruined us. We couldn't take car rides together because we
No,
couldn't listen to
man.
country.
Yeah, no, country kind of puts me to sleep. I'm not gonna lie. I got a lot of it out in Wyoming, so I had to get away from that,
Real
definitely for
music. You
sure.
got
Yeah.
introduced to the real music out there.
That's what they were saying. That's what they're saying. They said they would change my taste, but I don't know if they did. I really don't know if they did. There are some good songs. There are some good songs out
You
there. I
didn't
can't.
open yourself up. You closed yourself off.
Yes, yes, that's very true. That's very true. That's very true. I definitely, yeah, put in my headphones once I heard it. Once I heard it, but yeah, no, I listen to a lot of Christian rap. So we have Lecrae, Andy Mino, KB. One of the people I really like listening to before I go are Caleb Gordon and Jay Monty. So all artists that a lot of people don't really know. I'm kind of on the down low, but it's just music that glorifies God and kind of keeps me in this mind state of everything I do. He's given me the ability to be out there, so I'm just glorifying Him in that way. So
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome.
right on.
That is awesome. Yeah. And so, with that, we're going to jump into just a little bit of what advice would you give someone who is looking to become a D1 wrestler? Or,
Mm,
it's kind of the same in all sports, becoming a D1 athlete in that sense is, what advice would you give them? Because, you do different training regimens, but it's all kind of the same. The processes are the same, preparing yourself, it gets a little different sport by sport, but it's all kind of in the same realm. What would you give advice to somebody who wants to become a D1 athlete or specifically a wrestler at some point in their
mm.
life?
I would say that determination. Just keep working at it with all you got. And one big thing is that I have seen is when you do, if you do get there and you do complete that goal, don't take your foot off the gas. A lot of times people get into that D1 school of their dreams, and you see them kind of take a step back, and they're like, I made it. This is all I was working for. So I just say keep working to be the best you can be, and stay grateful for all the opportunities that people have given you and the support that you have. A lot of times you see these athletes who are so good become a little selfish and they shut off from their community. And then when they have a bad season, they have no one to kind of turn to or lean back on. So I just say stay grateful and have that determination that you can make it, and don't let anyone else tell you what you can or can't do.
Okay, yeah, definitely. And if you had to give me a favorite memory so far, or memories that you've had
Mm.
so far in your wrestling career, whether it be high school leading up to now, give me some of them. What are your favorite memories as a D1 wrestler, or even back when you were a small town wrestler and there was only about 100 people cheering for you? Now you got thousands. You got the
Mm,
whole United States cheering for you.
I
What? Give
got
me
you,
some
man.
memories for me.
Yeah, so I'd say I have two really memories that kind of stick with me, and one of them is my freshman year, going against number 7. I was like number 23. We're losing the entire duel. The entire crowd's quiet. I'm going against this senior, and I'm this freshman. There's no way I should win this match, but I kind of stick with him throughout the match, and I kind of get beat up a little bit. He's controlling the entire match, and then third period he kind of dies out a little bit. I ended up taking him down and doing this pretty. It wasn't a pretty ride out, but I rode him out for the last probably like 45 seconds, and everyone in the crowd's kind of going wild. My team's behind me, and that was my first big win that kind of put me on the map. So that was definitely a memory that kind of stuck with me. But I'd say my best memory in college wrestling or collegiate wrestling so far was just taking out the number 1 seed at home. He was undefeated for like 2 seasons. He's a Hodge Trophy runner up, and he's just coming into his third season of like being the guy. And I was on the map, but I was probably like number 10 at the time. Still probably not. No one really expected me to win the match, but sticking with them. And then towards the end, I get this last second takedown, which I need. And my arm's kind of stuck, and I have to limp it out. And I end up limping it out in like 3 seconds. The crowd erupts. My coach, the funniest part about this is my coach jumps up so fast. He's so excited, but he stomps on someone's ankle right next to him and ends up blowing out his entire knee. So I'm looking at the crowd, I'm hyped. And then I see my coach just laying on the ground holding his knee. And I was so hyped I didn't really think about it. But afterwards, that was definitely so funny to just learn about. So those are definitely two memories that have stuck with me throughout my collegiate wrestling career so far.
He stuck to the chair for a while after that.
Yeah, yes, he did. Yes,
didn't
he
move
did.
around too much.
No, not at all, man. Not at all.
So, another thing, how do you hope to be remembered as a wrestler? Not just that, you're remembered even in Loyal from high school, what you did leading up to your college career, but then into college, how do you want to be remembered for your time as a wrestler?
I want to be remembered just being grateful for the opportunity. Coming out of high school, I wasn't really looked at to really be I guess an all-star, I guess I would say. But I would just say grateful for the opportunities, always determined to come in every single day and put his best out on the mat. Just as I was saying earlier, you can control effort. So definitely a guy who just comes in no matter how much he's hurting, no matter what he's kind of been through, just sticking to it and getting better every single day. So I would like to be remembered as just a hard worker who was always grateful for the opportunities that he was given.
Okay, awesome. And one last thing before we wrap it up. Are you planning on continuing? What is the future plans for Stephen Buchanan after we know national championship this year, another one next year? We know we're going to have a couple more national titles in the belt. But after that, after we get done with that, what are the plans for Stephen Buchanan when he is done with his college career?
So I ended up signing with an agency and they have a lot of gyms of like MMA coming around. So those are definitely the MMA route is definitely kind of opened up for me. And I've taken some striking classes. Not really sure how well I'm gonna do, but that's definitely a route I can take. But also as a kid, I always wanted to try to be like Jordan Burroughs and become a gold medalist. So I do want to take a Olympic run. And after my collegiate wrestling career in folk style, I want to try the freestyle run, try to make a team, and if that's possible, kind of run with that. And then just recently, the WWE with NIL kind of opened up, so we'll see if that road opens up. And just honestly, I'm finishing out these last 2 years, and then just seeing what God has for me, and just taking whichever road I have and just flying high with it. So.
John Cena and The Rock are retiring at some point. Stephen Buchanan we're going to have to get you a different name. I don't think Stephen Buchanan has a good ring, but hey, start of the fan club right here. This guy right here, I will manage your way to the top. We will become WWE title. That's all I know.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it, man.
But with that, is there anything else you want to add? Shout outs or anything to the end here for some people that you know?
Oh yeah, definitely. My superintendent at Loyal, Kel Jackson, Bill Trudeau, they kind of helped me get on the map with Wyoming. Just kind of helped train me a little bit, and then when I got to college, Tion Ware, who really helped me kind of become the wrestler I was that I could become, with just fixing all the small details and just working on the little things, and just shouting out all the support I have back in my hometown, in Loyal and Greenwood. These towns aren't known by really anybody unless you're from them. So just having that support from that small community means a lot to me, and just having the support from either the fans in Wyoming or these new fans in Oklahoma, and even my family who have been supporting me along the entire way. Just shouting all these guys out, and I'm just grateful for it all. So.
Loyal, Wisconsin. I dare anyone to try and find it on a map. You could drive through it and you wouldn't even know that you hit it.
Yeah, you will drive through with a blink of an eye, man. It is crazy. One stop sign, man. It is nuts.
I dread the day that we get some stop and go lights in town. It's going to be a rough one.
Definitely.
But with that, it has been awesome talking with you today. Just wanted to say thank you again for being a part of the podcast.
Right on. I appreciate you having me on.
Heck yeah. We're hoping to expand into Oklahoma. We're expanding into Canada and Mexico, across the pond over there, but we're hoping to get some people in Oklahoma maybe tuning into this.
Right on. You're doing a great job. So.
There we go. Well, Again, thank you, Stephen, for being a part of this. This has been Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. Thank you guys for listening. Deuces, Bro Crew.